So, shut up.
So our topic will be and is San Francisco. So we're gonna talk about it like economically and also socially and the educational system. And then at the end we're gonna have 3 questions. So first of all, at war. So the time context here is a very big influence on the city and on the topic. So as we know, the war affects the economies of all the nations involved, and we saw a humongous growth in the U.S. First they were isolated from the war, and then in 1941.
Yeah.
My bad. All right, Pearl Harbor. Yeah. So after Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt declared war, and the entire country centered all their resources to produce arms and stuff. Not arms, sorry, tanks, vessels, etc. So all of California was greatly affected by the war, but no city was more affected than San Francisco Bay. Oh yeah, and the Bay. Socially, men and women were working alongside each other to build weaponry. So there was no barrier of sexism. They built vessels and tanks and even. Oh yeah. Yeah. So sorry, my bad. So women and men worked alongside each other. There was no sexism. There was more job opportunities for them, and it really gave them, more freedom, especially for women.
Alright, economically, the war created thousands of jobs. As a matter of fact, Ford's, which is now a car company, used to create tanks and would ship them overseas every single day. So the war structured the rich economic state San Francisco is still in today.
There was a lot of, before the war, San Francisco, was a very, it's a city that, manufactured a lot and had a lot of, office jobs. And then, after, once the war, once the nation was at war, it, it expanded that even more, right? It grew. So racially, the Japanese Americans, after Pearl Harbor, of course, they were unfairly put in camps, sent to barracks away from the coastline after what happened, and they lost all their possessions in incarceration. So many black families too were taking their places in society, since they needed as the nation needed as much helpers or soldiers as they could get. Many black families, you moved from the south, close to the coastline. So yeah, it was the reason they migrated.
This also created a lot of conflict between the Japanese Americans when they came back, because you go back to your home and you find a whole bunch of people living in it. So there was a lot of racism between the Japanese Americans and the African Americans when they came back.
However, it wasn't that bad as Stamps or St. Louis.
Now for the educational system, many of the high schools are now accepting a few Mexican and black students, which was a pretty good accomplishment, a pretty good progress according to their time. Most of the white population, including students, parents, and teachers, were not accepting of that, and were giving the students a difficult time. So many of these movies where there's this swimming team and it's the first black swimming team and everybody's giving them a rough time. Same thing with high school.
Yeah, okay.
What movie was that?
A lot of movies.
Okay.
Free Willy.
So.
Alright, do you think Maya's accomplishment of being San Francisco's first black streetcar conductorette had anything to do with the war?
Yes.
Well, obviously, as you guys said, all of the Japanese Americans were getting kicked out, so they had more space for the African Americans. So, naturally, Maya's position as a streetcar conductorette had to do with the fact that people were getting kicked out because of the war.
I don't think it really had to do anything to do with the war. I think it was just her own ambition to be the first black woman to like be a conductor for a streetcar. And also, I feel like she wanted to prove people wrong. She wanted to prove her mom wrong and her family wrong by getting the job because people didn't believe in her. And I don't think it had to do anything with the war. I think it was herself. She wanted to get the job.
Chris?
I think David is wrong completely. She only got the job because of the war. If it wasn't for the war, it was going to be a white man who had the job. There was no way she was going to get the job. It's only because of the war. There wasn't enough men, and there wasn't enough white people. That's why she got the job. That's it.
Yeah, and so here we also see the fact that it's first black and also, you know, a woman, right? So that's a pretty big
Actually, that
statement.
center was more taken by women than men.
No, but
Right, David?
It's okay.
yeah.
I think they're both like at an extreme. So I think the fact that it was in a war helped her chances of getting the job, but it was also her ambition that like really pulled her towards getting it. So I guess it was just a mix of a good opportunity that she took advantage of. I don't think it's just because of the war.
Okay, good. Johan?
Yeah, but just like what Chris said, I don't think even there was a lack of men or lack of white people. I just think that after the war, women and black people, like on a whole, were a little more accepted. So she had the opportunity to just jump in there when she was a child.
Personally, I agree more with Chris because in an interview she had with Oprah about 2 years ago, when she asked her why did you want that job, she said it was purely because she liked the uniform, and all she did to get the job was just wait next to the door for 2 weeks straight and not move from the door. So I guess like she was trying, but like she was still young and she wasn't as bright as she was when she wrote the books. And as a person who was only interested in the job for the uniform, I could understand why I would think personally that the reason she got the job was because of the impact of the war on San Francisco.
All right, next question. Do you think Maya got her scholarship thanks to her luck of having a rare non-racist teacher
She got a scholarship?
for the dancing theater?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah.
You read the book, didn't you?
Wasn't that in the epilogue?
Yes. Everything happens for a reason. Would you mind explaining that reason?
Yes.
Elaborating, if it's possible.
It was fate that gave her that teacher.
David?
I think getting her scholarship like was helped by that teacher that was not racist towards her, because I think the teacher gave her a lot of confidence and made her happy about herself and who she is as a black woman in the society, that is not like she's not being treated differently by the teacher, right? So I think it helped her believe in herself and she was able to get the scholarship because of that.
I think the teacher just gave her a chance to actually perform and show what she can do. So I don't think it's just because she had a non-racist teacher, but I think it actually helped.
It's solely because she had a non-racist teacher, because the first guy that came to her graduation said she should go into sports and that black people were supposed to stay there.
Hey, dance was a sport.
No one would ever give no one would ever give them the chance or the opportunity. So if it was a different person, she wouldn't have got it at all.
Very good.
Do you want to say that?
Yes, Ms. Nguyen?
Sorry, can you just elaborate a little bit further on the climate of San Francisco in relation to racial issues?
Yes, of course. So, wait,
I really don't know
climate?
if I have
The weather?
enough
Wait, do you mean like weather?
historical information to even discuss that question.
Okay, because we said how the first few high schools are starting to accept white Mexican students and black students. So but we also added to that that even the teachers, the students, and the parents were not accepting of the black people coming to these schools.
Okay, so when did those schools start opening themselves up to other races?
Uh,
Really?
in San Francisco,
Next question. All right, final question. Why does Maya feel at home for the first time in San Francisco? Someone else? Jacob?
She didn't feel at home in Stamps?
and
No.
in the book she said the first time she actually felt at home was when she arrived to San Francisco. So my question is why?
It's more of an analytical.
Because again, she's given a chance, so like she feels like she can live here and do what she wants to do. She's not restricted.
Yeah, basically like saying if she can do something like that, like in stamps, she was always struggling and not having, being able to get a good education or a good job because she was black while in San Francisco. Everyone was mostly equal in each job. Everyone would get a job.
Laura?
Who were
Oh,
black.
my bad. Laura?
Well, she's getting this great job and a scholarship, and she's getting all these things that she wouldn't get anywhere else, like in St. Louis or Stamps. So obviously she will feel like she feels at home.
Yeah, and also, we, in Stamps and St. Louis, we never see her, like truly happy. We see, however, in San Francisco, she lives through many different events that are pretty, pretty important. And it's also, we see in San Francisco the biggest transition into adulthood for Maya. So we see how, for example, living in the junkyard, and or like, everything in San Francisco is, like all over the place. It's war, and everybody's, out of place kind of. But so since all her life she's been out of place, it's like she finally found a place where she could, belong and be like, and she didn't have to feel different about herself because it was like the city was basically just like her, inside of her.
What I would have said was she's used to moving her entire life, so she moved from wherever she came before to Stamps, and from Stamps to St. Louis, and back to Stamps. And then when she went to San Francisco, she didn't really need to move because the city was constantly changing with the whole war and the effect of the war on the city. So it was as if she was moving while remaining in the same home, which is what she was used to. If you kind of.
Yeah, Johan?
I just feel like she got like a fresh start in San Francisco. It's like she's been through a lot in her childhood. She's been raped and things like that. And when she gets to San Francisco, she actually starts becoming happy because she feels at home. So like, it's just like a fresh start for her.
Chris?
I think it's because no one belongs there. Everyone just came because of the war. So she feels like she's equal to everyone, and that's why it's home.
She's so
Can you tell me a little bit about like the demographics of San Francisco?
Like demographics.
The people there.
Population.
Yeah.
Population demographics?
Yes, I am.
You are?
No, like no.
You did, or you will, or you are?
He can.
He is demographic. It's all
If
Mexicans.
you want me to.
It
Yeah.
would help.
Okay, so as we
Thing,
mentioned.
like, I don't know how I'm gonna answer that question if I don't know, for instance, what percentage of Mexicans, what percentage of blacks, what percentage of Japanese all live there?
Do you want us to like redo the presentation? No, like remake it. Like part two, like. No, because I understand this is not like the best. I'm sorry. We're sorry. Like we like. But we can do like you tell me, I'll do it. Like you like.
Surprised that like those are pretty. Those are like pretty basic things to look up, like population census, and like San Francisco is an interesting case because you know, after the stock market crash, it was actually one of the cities that thrived,
Yeah.
okay, because the banks did not crumble in San Francisco. And like that, I think that plays a huge role, like, I don't know.
No, you're right, no, you're right.
Okay.
We, can we have a, like,
Switch.
can we,
Yes, I would encourage you
Tomorrow?
to. Yes.
okay, so we'll present, like, pretend nothing happened.
I don't know if we can pretend that nothing happened.
Just add on.
I mean, that was a good
Recorded it
Add.
Delete it, Michael. All right, thank you very much, guys.
Alright.
Actually, the crap out of that.
I didn't make